We've got to get someone behind the contest in those boundaries runs. Don't get sucked in. We've got 3 blokes around, no one outside. They seem to look like they've got 3 or 4 more numbers, so it's bullshit. They don't. So just be a bit smarter. And you've got to talk. Alright? Win the ball and talk. Set up a bit better and they won't get those easy balls. Alright?
Welcome to everyone. Naomi, how are you? And Keith. Netball, footy, let's get that straight. All right. We've had round 8, which was a huge round, Keith. We had a long weekend for the Queen's birthday. You travelled up to Bairnsdale, which we'd been a bit worried all week about the floods up there. And as it, right up until about Thursday, Friday, we weren't sure what was going on. I think I told you Thursday I must have had around about 70 phone calls inquiring about whether or not we're playing. And as it turned out, the Bairnsdale ground was in pretty good nick.
The Bairnsdale ground was absolutely fantastic. Not just pretty good nick, a little bit of slipperiness in the cricket pitch area, but it was still grassed. And no, it was excellent condition at Bairnsdale. In fact, I think I saw 2 grounds over the weekend of Morwells, which was almost like a bowling green. So, we got through the weather well.
Yeah, and I believe the Mafra ground is still fairly wet, but it coped all right. And the Morwell game on Morwell Tarralgon, which was only yesterday, we're a little bit lost. It's been a huge weekend for us.
So that means today's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Review and preview, so we can do everything right. We had the ACCA show on yesterday, and there was a huge crowd at Morwell, a gate of over $12,000. And ACCA, I think the stats came out. ACCA had. There was an on-baller charging in the forward line. He had 8 kicks, 10 handballs, took 1 mark and kicked 2-1. And the mark he took was probably a contender for Mark of the Year, and our video man might be up for an award with the Footy Show the way it's going, eh?
Would you like to mention that Morwell actually won this very important game?
Yes.
As it turned out, it wasn't just the ACCA show, and I was most impressed the way it just fitted into a team structure as a first up. But Morwell played fantastic. I think ACCA certainly gave the crowd and the club good value for whatever money they put out. But his performance on the field was excellent. The mark, that's sort of legendary. And when you have an entire crowd, and a good crowd as you say, just rise and cheer that mark, that's fantastic. And the thing that most impressed me in the quality of him as a footballer, he just went back to 45, 50 metres and split the goals superbly. And it was a crucial part of the game, late in the 3rd quarter when Tarralgon were challenging. Great effort, and I think nobody came away disappointed with what he did. It wasn't kick the ball to ACCA type day, it was just you come here, fit into the team, and Morwell were terrific. I was really impressed with that against a good side in Tarralgon. Great day, great conditions,
And they
great finish to the weekend.
And they reckon young Geordie Simons of Tarralgon, he might even get a step ladder award. Bailey's are after a contract, because he seemed to hold ACCA up there. It seemed like an eternity. It might have only been a second, but it was up, held him up there for a good time, and it was as if he was saying, if you got the ball, are you right? Don't land too awkwardly, I'll let you go now. But anyway, it was a great game, as you say. We'll move on to our previews for round 9. And we better get the right fixture here, but round 9, we have Moe hosting Bairnsdale. and this is in the footy. It's going to be a great. Bairnsdale's got, they've won 3 games now, but Moe's no slouch either. They're coming off a game against Mel's Maulers, Leongatha, and they'll be keen to get back on the winning list. So this should be a pretty good tussle. Yeah,
it should be. The game's at Moe, and it should be a good tussle. It's hard to get a line on Moe when you go to Leongatha, and it's difficult over there. Well done, Chris. If you just keep your hands in your pockets, you'll be right. But yeah, Bairnsdale have got some good players, as we saw, or I saw last week. And they talking to some of their people afterwards. A couple of games they've dropped, they've been really disappointed about. And they've got 3 wins. If they can get to halfway with 4, in with a good chance of pushing into the 5. It's sort of interesting now that Moore, with its win over Terrelgan, has made it 4 wins are in the 5 at the moment, a 50-50 effort.
Yep.
So I reckon it's got to be 50-50 by the end of the year to make the 5. But for Bairnsdale, a crucial game for them. I think all the round this week is, pretty interesting. There could be toss-ups here. You can tip 5 winners, you can tip 0. I sort of tend to Bairnsdale because they're coming off a win and they have a fair bit at stake. But this will be close, and it wouldn't surprise me if Moe wins this at all.
Okay. Yeah, look, I'll go for Bairnsdale. I think they're on a roll at the moment. Unfortunately, we haven't got any netball there, so we'll go straight into the next match. Round 9 again. I'm making sure I'm right this week. Sale, the big one. Sale versus Leongatha. Night game starts at 6:20 at Sale for those that want to travel up there. But this is, it's the blockbuster game of the season, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is, and it's also a bit tempting to, for me to go and watch Druin against Moore on Saturday and then head to Sale to watch the big game Sale at Leongatha. I did say last week I'm not going to tip against Leongatha until they lose a game, so I'll stick with that. But gee, this is going to be close. Night conditions, depends on what the night's about. Sale, home ground advantage, wonderful sides with both of them. Both got good midfields, both got plenty of scoring capability up forward. Plenty of good defenders. Sale's defence is excellent, and my message out of Warragul from last weekend was that the way they organised that defence and then ran away from defence was fantastic, and they've got plenty of talent. 3 of their backmen are interleague representatives this year. It's going to be a great game. I'll stick by my word. I won't change ships like other tipsters have done over previous years on this program, but I won't tip against Leongatha until they lose, and they haven't put a foot wrong, so I'll go for them.
Okay. Well, the netball's very interesting as well. It's first and second. So it's a mammoth game for the netball as well.
That's it. Both these sides have only lost 1 match for the year. Be a tough competition, and whichever one of the 2 teams wins this round will finish the first half of the season on top of the ladder. So I imagine it'll be Leongatha too strong for Sale, but Sale have home court advantage, so I've been surprised once already this year, so who knows?
Okay, we'll go on to the third match.
Before you do, are you going to sit on the fence on Sale and Leongatha?
Oh no, I think Leongatha
No,
will
not
win.
you, Chris.
Oh, you.
Yeah, I heard your tip.
Okay.
I want to see what the fence is.
Well, I think Leongatha will visit up there and they'll win both. They'll win the netball and the football.
There you go.
So there we go. In the third game, Wonthaggi hosting Warragul. This is another one that you just can't take for granted. There's only, I think, 1 game between them. So I would expect another close one.
Yes, depends on availability of players, I think, for both sides, important players. Warragul is struggling a little bit in that regard at the moment. I think a couple of other guys are playing with a little bit of discomfort. That said, Wonthaggi has been, repeating what I've said before, is they're the disappointment of the season. I know they might have some outs as well, but they look to have a very talented lineup. It just hasn't been able to produce the goods, and whether it's the salt in the air down there or what, I'm not sure.
Could be the rust in the lines. I reckon there's a bit of rust in the pipeline there at the D-Cell, so maybe that's a repair as well.
Yeah, I think I'll tend to Wonthaggi at home. They've got their season to play for. There's no question about that. Not that Warragul hasn't got a lot to play for. I just think they might just have a little bit too much at this stage.
Yeah, well, I think Wonthaggi Power will have a bit too much firepower for Warragul, but again, I'm expecting a very close game. All games in this round should be close, and this will follow that. So, in the netball, we have the same, of course, but Wonthaggi are way up on Warragul in the netball. It's a little bit different, but anyway.
Yeah, Warragul yet to win a match this year. Unfortunately, they've lost a few players, had a few injuries, so it looks like this season might not be a good season for Warragul, but Wonthaggi I expect to get up with quite a decent win this weekend.
A little bit worried about Fred there with that hand there. I don't know if he's going to give you a flick or me a flick, but anyway. Fred, how we go, mate? All right? I was a bit worried before the way Naomi grabbed you and moved you around, but anyway, you look okay now. The next one, Traralgon Mafra. He's another rip snorter.
Well, it certainly is, and aren't the stakes really high for Traralgon now after Monday's result? They lost to Morwell. They're just sitting in the 5 with 4 wins out of 8. Going to the second half of the season with 4 wins out of 9. They've got to pull 5 out in the next half of the season. It was 9 wins got in last year into the final 5. I don't expect it to be any less this year. So it's really important for Traralgon coming into the second half of the season. I don't know where the game's going to be played at this stage. Chris, have you got any?
No, it'll be at Traralgon.
It will be at Traralgon. Yeah. But Traralgon were, watching them on Monday. Morwell just played they applied their press very well. Morwell's a very good side. Apart from that, I think we've all, underrated them a bit, and they've had a couple of guys come in, and they looked a very accomplished side, and they really just pushed Traralgon off their game, and they played a similar type of game to what Mafra plays. So I think I'll find that very interesting, and Mafra, great chance here for them to get that break to finish a top 3. I think they'll have plenty of incentive, and I just think they'll be a bit slick for Traralgon.
Yeah, it is very interesting looking at it. I think Traralgon will come back. I think Morwell had. I'll talk about Morwell in the next one, but look, Morwell did play well, but Traralgon were right up with them until 3/4 time, and in the last quarter, Morwell went away. But I think Traralgon will win this. Actually, I think they've got too much pride in themselves. It's a home game, and they'll be there to try and knock off Mafra, who's been a bit of a, over the last few years, Mafra's taken the mantle of the team of Gippsland off them, and I think that hurts the Traralgon people, and they'll be pulling out all stops to win. So I'll go for Traralgon. The netball, that should be again very interesting. There's not much between these two.
No, Traralgon had everything to win on Monday. They were the team that was up for pretty much the whole game, and then had a shot on the siren, and it ended up a draw with Morwell, and that's really hurt their chances. So I think Traralgon will have a big week at training this week. Mafra also coming off a loss, but I think Traralgon with more desire to get the win, and it should be a Traralgon win this weekend.
So when a coach loses in footy, they normally make them run 440s, which is a lap of the ground. What do they do at netball? Laps of the court, or
Each
for
coach
punishment?
is different, but suicide is quite popular.
Suicide.
Suicides.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, I'm worried. Yeah, that's a bit hard. It's a bit like they don't have any suicide books in the libraries anymore because they don't come back. But anyway, we'll move on to the last game, which is actually Druin versus Morwell. And again, that's your side, Keith. Struggling a bit this year. Morwell, on Monday, yesterday, they proved... what I found about them is they've got a very good spine there. They've got Chunky Duncan up forward with Jeff Ryan. In the back line, they've got Jack Brown and Shane Ryan and Funky Duncan. So very good at both ends, and the main thing on top of that, I mean, we know clubs can have that, but you've got to have a good on-ball brigade, which both coaches, when they were interviewed yesterday at the Morwell luncheon, made a point of saying that if you want to win a match, you've got to have an on-ball that can win the contested ball and deliver it to their forward line, which Morwell did better than Terrelgan. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here at Druin on Saturday.
Yeah, you mentioned Morwell's spine, and you can add into that Tom Crosby, who at various stages played in the ruck at centre half back, centre half forward, full back on Dan McKenna on Monday. Very good player. Played an excellent game on Monday. Jack Brown at full back was terrific. I reckon I've seen him play over the last couple of years about 5 or 6 times, and I reckon he's won every contest, on the day against who he's played, and very, very nice young man and good football, and has really given Morwell something to build their defence around. But I thought the other thing about Morwell was their work around the packs was a lot sharper, neater, and more positive than Terrelgan's. It was just my impression from yesterday. I think Joel Suter, with the captaincy this year, he stepped up. His game yesterday, I thought, was probably one of the better ones I've seen him play. They brought in a couple of lads from Big Gippsland, only teenagers, the Baileys, and they certainly stood up under some tough pressure yesterday. You have Adam Bailey, no relation. Really good when the game gets going. They'll probably miss Acker this week. But it just looked a really well-balanced, well-drilled side to me, and what Druin's not doing is really putting those team systems and team drills into practice often enough and well enough. Unfortunately for the footy record, I got my tips in early and gave Druin one last chance before I watched more yesterday. So I can't change that. I'll go for Druin, but more look pretty good, and that if they can get over this, start the second half of the season at 5-4, they're doing well. I would say they're in the finals. So I think some of the games they lost the first time around, I reckon they'll win next time.
Yeah, well, I think the main difference, and I suppose it's the same for all sides that are what we class as lower end of the ladder to the upper end. As I said, both coaches interviewed yesterday and made a point of saying win the contested ball and deliver it to your forward line correctly, and I think Druin's winning a fair amount of the contested ball, but the thing that's really letting them down is their delivery into their forward line. They're not, they seem to be just bombing it up or kicking it where their leading forward had led from instead of putting it in front of their forwards. But I'll put that up as a criticism of those players at the moment, but they are winning a lot of the contested ball. All they've got to do is actually hit their targets, and they could be challenging all the other sides. But for mine, I think Morwell's just too strong at the moment. In the netball, they're very. We've got Druin 3 games and Morwell 1.5. So, but holding, what is it? Oh, we've got one missing, so it's actually 7 and 8. They are.
That's it. Look, honestly, with Druin have their full side in, I reckon that they're now pretty much unbeatable. They showed glimpses of that again in their match in Bairnsdale on Saturday, and I pretty much believe that this weekend they're going to be way too strong for Maul, and they'll go into the second half of the season with 4 wins, 4 losses, but ready to challenge some of those teams that beat them the first time round.
What's happened with Maul this year? The last couple of years have been well up there. I'm surprised to see that Maul slip down.
They've lost a couple of players, just not clicking quite as well as what they have in the past. They've had some really, really close matches, but just haven't been able to get over the line. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you lose by 50 or lose by 1, and if it's a loss, it's a loss.
I don't like sort of losing by 50.
Okay. All right, well that sums up that. I suppose, is there anything else we need to just mention this week? Whilst we've got a few minutes there. Anybody?
No, I'm good.
No, you're good. You're good, Keith.
No,
Fred, you got anything there?
I won't mention that you're promoting betting on country football, but...
Just a chunky Duncan, mate. You cost your club $500 by kicking the first goal. But anyway, it was a good goal. Well done. And to everyone else, thanks for watching, and hopefully we've brought you some tips there, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.